All right, good afternoon. The interagency teams of the City of Jacksonville, along with state and federal partners, have been at this Emergency Operations Center since last week. They've been working around the clock this weekend, making every effort to give updates and the best information that we have available so we can all make the right decisions. We've seen Dorian strengthen to a Category 5 hurricane, and as we stand here, it's already making an extremely serious impact on the Bahamas. As it passes the Bahamas and continues west, we know that it will eventually turn north. Until it does make that turn, the exact path and proximity to northeast Florida will be a forecast made with the best information available at each time. But it will take many more hours to know the exact path. This is an uncomfortably close track offshore of the Florida Atlantic coast. Any deviation to the west will mean a bigger and more severe local impact. This possibility demands that we take the next 2 days to take every precaution we can and work to keep everybody safe. For that reason, I have signed a proclamation declaring a local state of emergency effective at midnight tonight. This declaration allows local officials to have all the resources we need available and accessible to us to protect the people of Jacksonville and get the work done. In addition, I'm announcing that all City of Jacksonville government offices will be closed Tuesday and Wednesday. Obviously, all employees that are essential to storm prep and all the things that goes with that will be working. As you already heard today, Dr. Green announced the Duval County Public Schools will also be closed Tuesday and Wednesday. I've been stating for almost a week now to know your zone. If you don't know your zone, you need to look it up right now, jacksready.com or the JacksReady app. Effective at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I am announcing mandatory evacuations for zones A and B. That is effective at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, mandatory evacuations for zones A and B. That doesn't mean you have to get in your car exactly at 8 a.m. Do this right, be prepared, be calm about it, but you need to leave. If you live in A and B, take this evening to make all necessary preparations and through the morning to make arrangements to leave Jacksonville. In almost any scenario that plays out with this powerful hurricane, there will be effects to the coastal and low-lying areas of our city. If you're in zones A or B, get ready tonight and tomorrow begin to evacuate. We know that many of you were camping over the holiday weekend. A reminder that Huguenot and Hannah Parks will fall in zone A, so you must evacuate starting tomorrow. The weather, some of the weather you saw today and you'll see tomorrow is not Dorian. It's a nor'easter. So when you are evacuating tomorrow, this is not impacts from the hurricane. So you do not be concerned that you're traveling in that. You have tomorrow to prepare and leave. Shelters were open tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., beginning tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. For information about location and what to bring, go to jacksready.com or call 630-CITY. Again, they open at 10 a.m. We have until Tuesday evening, probably, until we have an event. So you don't need to be at the shelters at exactly 10 a.m. If you're going to go to a shelter, please bring essential stuff, bring food, bring pillow. That stuff is not provided at shelters. The St. Johns River Water Taxi has suspended operations as of today, and we will notify you when they reopen. With that, I'd like to ask Angie with the National Weather Service to come up, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Angie Agnetti. I'm a National Weather Service meteorologist here deployed at the Emergency Operations Center to assist with Dorian operations. As of 4 o'clock this afternoon, powerful Hurricane Dorian, Category 5, was severely impacting the Bahamas. Sustained winds were 185 miles an hour, gusts to 225 miles an hour. So as the mayor said, this is a very potent storm. The latest forecast track is very similar to what we saw this morning, bringing the storm uncomfortably close to the mainland of the Florida East Coast. As the storm makes its closest approach to the first coast, that time period will be through the day on Wednesday as a Category 3, which is a major storm. Now, with the position of this storm and the anticipated forecast track, the strongest part of the storm, those strong Category 3 winds, are expected to be offshore away from our local coast. However, we will be on the western side of the storm, and we are preparing for sustained tropical storm conditions along the immediate coast and the riverfront. We're expecting the stronger winds and the threat of storm surge as well. So this is a precariously close forecast track, and at this time we are seeing deteriorating marine conditions, high waves, rough surf. The rip current risk is extremely high today, and that will continue to worsen as we go through Wednesday as Dorian draws closer. In addition, as the mayor mentioned, tomorrow we are expecting even more rainfall coverage than what we saw today with a nor'easter. Again, not Dorian tomorrow. But we will continue to see waves of rain moving on shore. It will be gusty at times. We'll have strong wind gusts. So it will be a messy movement day, but again, not Dorian. Want to reiterate again for those on the immediate coastline and those in flood-prone areas in the St. Johns River Basin to be aware that you are the most vulnerable at this time based on this forecast track. At this time, we are calling for surge values, storm surge values up to 6 feet on the immediate ocean front and in the intercoastal waterway, and up to 4 feet in the St. Johns River Basin. That will cause some flooding of property in these areas.
Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. So, based on the evacuations from the coastal areas, just a reminder, people at the beach, you've got a couple of ways that you can leave the beach. JTB, westbound to 295, Beach Boulevard, Atlantic Boulevard, both westbound to 295, and of course Wonderwood, Mount Pleasant to Merrill to 295, which will get you to 95 if that's the course that you choose to take. So tropical storm force winds, the onset is Tuesday evening at some point. So the bridge issue, the bridges will close when those winds reach 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds. So myself, our agency, and FHP will monitor those bridges, and we will make that call per bridge as those winds reach 40 miles an hour sustained. We are continuing to monitor traffic out of South Florida. We're working with FHP and the TPO to again, monitor the traffic counts. We're not seeing any issues at this moment and don't anticipate any over the next 24 hours. So, but we'll continue to obviously keep an eye on that as well.
Mayor Latham with Jax Beach also has some news.
Thank you, Mayor. All three beaches in the Jacksonville beaches, on Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, and Jacksonville Beach, will be closing effective midnight tonight. We're expecting significant rip tides tomorrow. We will be enforcing the closure of the beaches, so please stay clear of the beaches. And we can also expect that we'll be announcing within the next few hours both a curfew and a alcohol sales ban. But that more information will be coming close behind this meeting. Thank you.
All right. We've also got FHP here with us if anybody has questions when we get on evacuation routes, when we get into Q&A. So with that, we'll take questions.
On the evacuation routes, can you say what we can expect on the interstates when South Florida starts moving north? Are we going to be shifting lanes, or will it all be open?
So right now it's going to be natural flow, normal flow. So we'll continue to monitor that. Again, we can see traffic, real time all the way from South Florida all the way up the interstate. So we'll and have been monitoring that, and we'll continue to do that. Emergency shoulder use is something that we can utilize at some point. We'll evaluate that and implement that as needed, and just continue to monitor and stay on top of it.
Sure. What about a curfew in Jacksonville?
So it hasn't been discussed as of yet, but if we head that direction, we'll let you know.
As far as schools, can you say anything about the status of how we're determining when to cancel school days, how that determination is made, and if this could progress into Wednesday and Thursday in Duval?
Well, I'll let Dr. Green obviously address that, but I'll say at this center, we're all working together and speaking with one voice. So evacuations, school closures, city closures, we're all making judgment calls based on the information we have and based on our historical experience.
Mayor Curry answered it perfectly based on information from the EOC. The superintendents that have counties contiguous, we also have conversation to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page. But our goal is to be one community and have one voice, and the school district is here to support our community, because we will also be, when the shelters open, many of those will be our schools.
Dr. Green, how concerned are you about the older schools withstanding some of these winds?
Well, our maintenance department has prepared our schools that will be hurricane shelters. The shutters are already in place, and everything that is needed for those schools to open up tomorrow is there.
Senior citizens, people who may not be as in touch with social media and where to look up stuff on websites, is 630 City still their best option?
630 City is the place to be and place to call. Yes.
What's being done about seniors evacuations and monitoring nursing homes and things like that? For,
If you have 630 City, 630 City for any information that you need. If it's a medical emergency, you need to call 911. Look, nursing homes need to have a plan, and we stand ready to help, and they just need to heed the warnings, and that's the expectation.
There's a number of nursing homes that aren't in compliance right now with what came down from the state following Irma. So how much of a concern is that?
They ought to be in compliance, but my concern right now is that they heed the warning and make sure that they take care of the people that they're supposed to be protecting, and make sure that they're in a safe place as the storm approaches.
Sheriff or the fire chief, as far as 911 response times, will those remain normal, or will you ever get to a point where 911 response is delayed if people have an emergency and need to call for help?
So depending, a couple of factors there. So we'll have our normal on-duty deployment throughout the storm, and then we'll plus that up with additional resources, and I know the fire department will do the same as well. There will be a point in time in the storm, as there is with any storm, for people who have ignored the evacuation order. If they call 911, we may not be able to get there based on storm conditions. And so that's one of the things that we're going to continue to message out, is that's why we're evacuating. One of the reasons is, again, we may not be able to get to you. But in terms of outside of that time window, our normal operations will be staffed up fully, and then we'll have additional resources on the street for the storm issues.
It's important that people in zones A and B know that if they don't evacuate with the impacts of the storm, there will likely be a moment in time, a period of time, where they will not have access to rescue, and then even calling in rescue after the fact. Yes, men and women in public safety sign up to protect us, but there's no reason to put their lives unnecessarily in danger because someone chose not to evacuate. I remember 2 years ago. When I got the news and I had to stand here and ask people to put white flags out so they could be rescued. We certainly don't want to, if it has to happen again, they'll do their jobs, but let's just avoid it and evacuate.
Normal shelters accommodate people with special needs.
I'm sorry?
How will shelters accommodate people with special needs?
They're supposed to register. It's got that website. COJ.net special needs. They should be registered there, and they register. The city has we have a process to make sure that they're taken care of.
JTA buses, will those be running normal? A lot of people are going to start using them tomorrow morning for work.
I'm sorry.
Nat Ford with the JTA. Yes, so we will run our Sunday service for Monday. That's what we normally run on Labor Day holiday. However, with the addition and the mayor's evacuation order, we will start our evacuation bus service. We'll start up 8 a.m. Monday morning, and we'll run it through the event until weather prevents us from providing those services.
And how do they get on those buses? Is that all?
That's all free. That's complimentary. So just the buses will actually have that on the head sign, free shuttle, and they can actually ride the bus for free to a pickup point.
We've been saying again for almost a week to make sure you've checked your kit. Just make sure now that it's upon us in a day and a half, couple of days, that you have batteries, that you have the food and water that you need, and heed the warnings, zones A and B. Mandatory evacuations start 8 a.m. tomorrow. Start preparing tonight. Do what you need to do and get out of here sometime tomorrow.
Mayor, is there a lesson learned from Irma and Matthew that you can apply? There's one thing you learned from those storms.
My biggest concern, and this is the third now, is that it could be a person that chooses not to heed the warning and evacuate. This is very serious stuff. This is a very powerful storm. It's very dangerous, and we don't want to lose people unnecessarily. Just heed the warnings. I know this has been a long week because this thing slowed down, and it's been a holiday weekend. Some people may have tuned out, but just If you're an A and B, go. And I want to thank local media for covering this and making sure that people have all the information that they need to make good decisions.
Any concern gas supply?
I have not heard any reports on gas supply. Sheriff, I don't know if you have.
I have not.
But obviously, we've dealt with that before in previous storms. And when it happened, we were right on it with the governor's office and the governor's team, and we would do the same thing again.
This is a message or a question for Aaron. Aaron, how prepared is JEA right now?
We're well prepared. We've doubled our resources both on the power and the water side. We're staged throughout our service territory. In the event any of our customers have any questions, they can go to jea.com or they can call 665-6000. We're prepared. We have all the resources we need.
Did you clip any trees or anything ahead of the storm to protect power lines?
Yes, yeah. We've actually been doing that throughout the year in order to be prepared for any storm event, as well as making sure that we have all the backup generators ready to go for our water and wastewater systems. We also have 100 additional portable generators ready to go, as well as some bypass pumps.
How much help are you expecting out of the area in case you need it?
So we've brought in help from Texas. Two of our partners from Texas have lent us help, and we're staging those throughout the service territory to augment our resources.
And let's speak on pets, animals, what people should be doing with their animals.
That information is also available at jacksready.com, Jack's Ready app, and 630 City.
When's the next briefing? Do we know?
Stay tuned. Same thing as something develops. We'll get to you as we see additional models and tracking. But the important thing right now is A and B. Get ready, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And you have the day tonight and tomorrow to prepare and move. Thank you.